Hello, everyone. We start our program today. I would like to introduce my guest today, Mr. Gульrez Sheikh from India, political analyst, writer, activist. Hello, Mr. Gульrez.
Yeah, hello. How are
And
you?
Mrs. Ahlam Джанахи from Bahrain, representing business women society in Manama. Good evening, Ms. Ahlam.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
We will start our discussion concerning this pandemic and very difficult times for us, quarantine, with sitting homes, staying with our families. At the same time, economics breaks down. I would like to ask Mr. Gульrez, what do you think, especially discussing China and WHO statistic, which are expecting from Chinese government, and we're hiding this statistic. What do you think?
See, we were knowing since the beginning only that China and WHO, they are looking hand in glove. Mr. Trump was always saying this, but recently that has been proved by Associated Press's inquiry, and the kind of revelations which have came, they are groundbreaking, they're chilling actually. The way China was hiding the things, even they were hiding from WHO, but WHO was not pressurizing China like it does to other countries. Then after that, the kind of statements and tweets which were coming from the WHO side, they were praising China, even though China was hiding the thing. And finally, the report that this is a human to human transferable virus, it came from Thailand, by the government of Thailand, and it's not by China. China publicized the thing after the revelation made by Thailand. If you have some time, I will come upon the timelines, because timeline is very important. And what AP, Associate Press, has revealed, they got some discussions of meeting audios which WHO officials were discussing among themselves, and based on that they have made their entire report. And finally, if you join the dots, you will come to conclusion. I'm not saying anything, but it's for the viewers to join. See, in the last part of December, last week of December, by 27th of December, one of the lab, it was a private lab there in Wuhan, it's called Vision Medicals. And what this Vision Medical lab they had done, they have pieced together most of the genome of the new coronavirus. And as per them, it was having somewhat similarities to the SARS virus, which have killed many people so a few years back. And Vision Medical, they shared the data with Wuhan officials. And Wuhan is the Chinese, also the Chinese Academy of Medical Sciences. But these people, what they did, they put a lid upon that report. And on December 30th, the Vision Laboratories, they pieced together the genome on 27th of December. Just 3 days after that, on 30th of December, Wuhan health officials issued internal notices warning of unusual type of pneumonia, which leaked on social media. Because right now, nowadays, things leak very easily. And it is a virus, but the reports also become viral because of the presence of internet and social media. And on the same evening, Miss Xi Jinping, to whom we all remember as Batwoman, because when SARS virus was spreaded, she was the lady who traced this virus to the bats, and she went in the caves of bats and did her research and published the papers. That day she was in Beijing, and as soon as she came to know about this kind of virus and this kind of revelation, she took the first train to Wuhan from Beijing. She went there, and the next day, that is 31st of December, 31st December 2019, Chinese CDC dispatched a team of experts to Wuhan. Also on the same day, WHO first learned about the cases from an open source platform. They were not knowing it from Chinese government or Chinese officials. They came to know it from open source platform. And WHO officially requested more information on 1st of January 2020. from the Chinese authority. And international law, it says that any country where there is a new kind of virus is there, it is bound to inform the WHO within 24 to 48 hours. And Chinese authorities took full 48 hours. Then they told the WHO that there were 44 cases in Wuhan, but there was no death. On December 2, things are taking very fast. Okay, December 1st, WHO asked Chinese authorities. Second, January 1st, 2020, WHO asked Chinese authorities. January 2nd, Miss Shi, the Batwoman, she decoded the entire genome of that coronavirus, and according to a notice later posted it, and she posted it on the website of her own institute. But when it came to sharing the information to the world, things again went back into the lid. Chinese authorities started hiding them. Then on 3rd of January, the National Health Commission issued a confidential notice ordering the laboratories. Now, which laboratories are there to discard the virus and destroy the samples or give the samples to the Chinese officials? There were two laboratories. The number one laboratory was that private laboratory of Wuhan, that is the Vision Lab, and number two was belonging to Miss Xi Jinping, who is also known as Batwoman. So what they told her, to hand over all the viral samples to the Chinese officials. This happens on 3rd of January. Then after that,
Mr.
what
Gulrez,
happened? Yeah.
We need to ask also, because I would like to see listen opinion Ms. Ahlam. How it's economics now, because it's going down in Bahrain. You are running this business society. We are interested in your government support business sector, or you get some subsidies, donations for this period, or maybe tax reduces. Hello?
Yeah, your question was not clear. Your voice was not clear. Can you repeat what you said, please?
I would like to ask about business society. How's you get support from your government, and how's going now?
Yeah, of course, everybody's suffering in Bahrain as business or as families, but we are very happy because Bahrain government, they are helping the Bahrainis and the resident of Bahrain who are working in Bahrain for certain things. Like, of course, they are paying the electricity for the houses and for the companies for certain time. They stop the bank loans without interest to around 6 months to generate their to help them generating their cash flow. They help in giving the also water and electricity, and they are also having some entities, governmental entities, that they are helping the people who are who cannot pay some commitments. We have a lot of they did so many programs through Supreme Council for Women, especially for women who are owning the businesses of salons and restaurants, because they are being affected, and all salons in Bahrain being stopped their activities. So we have also Tamkeen semi-government fund that they are helping in paying part of their expenses, like rental expenses, the salaries of the staff. We have a pension fund authority. They are paying the salaries of Bahrainis. So we are almost covering up as a business aspects. So thanks to our government and leadership, they had a wise plan for this time, very critical time. But of course, we want to know what will happen the coming year. So we are, as a businesswoman society, advising the women, especially in business, that they have to do their courtesy plan for the coming year, either to shift their businesses, or they have to learn more online businesses, IT. We are working different workshops with different countries, how to assist and develop the businesses in different way, because we never know that how it comes. Is it the past practicals, or it should be a new themes that we should work for our businesses in Bahrain?
Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Gulrez?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you were asking Ahlam also.
Yeah, I want to ask Ahlam. So, what you look at the prospects, since the oil market is really going down, and most of your country's economy is based upon oil resources. So, how you think that it is going to affect the entire region of Middle East, which is so much dependent upon oil economy, oil-based economy?
Yeah, actually, as you said, it's entire GCC, maybe Middle East, they are depending on oil. But as Bahrain, they are not depending only on the oil, even though they've been affected. But we have different programs, and I think, as you know, for us also, the 5% tax on businesses, it's just newly introduced in Bahrain. So during this time, they stopped that tax. As I told you, we have a good government, strong government policy. But at the same time, I think they have their own funding, not from oil, from different sources. Because, you know, Bahrain is a
Okay.
small country and we don't depend on oil from long time. But it is part of our income, the oil. That's why we've not been affected by reducing of oil prices. We've been affected by general situation of the COVID-19 crisis.
And one more thing I want to ask, how are the women businessmen in particular affected by the COVID-19? Because we know that women have to go an extra mile in order to look for their children, in order to look about their families, plus business, that they have some restriction which should not be there. But any society there, it is having some kind of restriction on women, which we don't like, but it is there. The fact is there throughout the world. Let it be West, let it be India, let it be Middle East. There are restrictions on women. So how the women leadership, you are the women leader of business leader, how you guys are trying to cope up with that?
Oh, I cannot tell you that we are more than happy that we are Bahrainis and our leadership supporting women, and we have gender equality. We have no differentiation between men and women in all aspects, especially in business. Men and women, they are the same. They have same rights, same law, tradition, and the Bahrainis, they are very well educated. We are an open-minded country, and we are living in harmony with different nationalities and different religions. We are a free country to do whatever we want and whatever our religion is. So here, that's why we are maybe in the leading countries of Middle East. We feel that really we are different in education and human resources. We have all Bahrainis, they are working different in different level, different kind of work. We have women's, they are driving, women's, they are going out like a man. We don't have anything that it restricts the women in Bahrain, even though we respect our tradition as a Bahrainis, that we are in an Islamic country, but we don't have any restriction. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yes, and some good news also coming from Saudi Arabia. They are also easing the restrictions on women. That's good, appreciable.
They are opening now with the new
They are opening now.
with the new leadership. I think the women
Woman has a driver license, I know.
Yeah,
No,
it's
even
not only a matter.
they have stopped
driving
flogging
license.
also. They have stopped the
Yes.
punishment of flogging and all those things.
Yeah.
MBS is really doing some good job.
Yeah, the policies are changing in Saudi Arabia to the best of their nation. I mean, business policies or political policies, everything is changing according to the update system of international systems. So I hope that they are also having their own procedures that they are doing, even though in this time the airports are closed, the causeway which is between us and Saudi were closed. We used to go within 15 minutes to Saudi Arabia and to deal in business or visiting friends or visiting chamber of commerce or businesswomen. But at this time we have little bit difficulties, even though that business trucks, the exchange of commodities and goods, it's running and it's not stopped. As I know that some businesses has been affected, but a lot of businesses has been also generated, and they like medicine, pharmacies, the people who are selling the mask, the people who are selling the cleaning things, the supermarkets, all these people, they are having more businesses these days. But some other businesses has been affected because of the situation. As you know, the risk-taking situation, like IT companies, they are in trend now. So
Yeah, they are in trend.
Yeah, not all the businesses has been affected. Some businesses, it's for them it's a benefit because they increase their income, and some businesses with the usual businesses it's been decreased and they are having problems.
I would like to ask,
Great.
thank you, Ms. Ahlam, about question about digitalization, because thank you that you touched this topic. What do you think in future, how business connection will be built? Now we are maybe limited by traveling, some borders closed in Russia especially. We can expecting opening where maybe middle of July. We hope so for a best
I think
resolving of
each
our...
country, they have their own schedule. Each country, they have their own schedule for reopening the airports. But still, it is a risk for the people to travel. But we have, as we are today, we have communication. We can set up meetings with online. The products can be shipped through international courier companies. So the people should think differently now. I mean, each one has a business. They have to think differently how they can serve their businesses and how can they develop their businesses in this critical time. Yes. Maybe some activities they have to close and change it to different activities as per request of the market.
Even market, you know, in a shop center, thank you that you are marked with, because they change rules now for consumers. For example, mask, we're using gloves, they have a distance, keep distance, where consultants cannot touch person, especially where, for example, perfume, bags, any goods.
In Bahrain, most of the shops and especially the hypermarkets, they opened online requirements and they can deliver it to your houses. So in Bahrain, because this is a small area and it can be controlled, or it's more benefit for them to deliver to the houses, because even the boutiques, they close, but still the ladies, they are opening their Instagram, they are putting their IT company into IT companies, cooperating with them to do shop online. So this is the trend now. I'm sure that it is not only in Bahrain, but it's everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. It's a trend, and it will be developing more and more and more deeply in the digitalization of all gods. Mr. Gulrez, yes, you want to say something?
Uh, well, I will like to talk upon two topics. One is that Corona, and another is economy, my favorite subject. So I was talking you about that Associate Press report, and to be very short upon it, what let me tell the viewers what it was quoting. It's the Associate Press report they have published. It's a groundbreaking, chilling report which shows that the state of China was hiding everything, and they were hiding it for nearly a month, at least for 3 weeks, and due to which, and by the time it spreaded everywhere, even when they started taking very draconian type of measures of shutdown or lockdown of Wuhan, the flights were coming and going, and that infection was spreading throughout the world, and still the WHO was silent. Not only silent, it was praising and somehow somewhat looking in support of the Chinese authorities. It raises questions that why they were playing with so many lives and business and economies of the entire globe. So it needs more investigation, but what the revelations are there, and when Associate Press asked the officials of WHO, their response was, "You hand over to us, you send us the recordings, then we will reply." But they denied because they are having their own sources. Those sources will be exposed if they are sending. So next time those sources won't help them, and they might even be punished for that. World need to think out of the box now, and these international institutions has crumbled. So we need to remake these institutions. I say not only WHO, but even the UN and all its offshoots need a remake if we want to avoid further conflict in the world, like its predecessor of United Nations. It failed to stop the World War II. If this kind of institutes continue and there are no reforms even in the Security Council, then I don't know in future how they will be able to stop other conflicts. And coming to the economics, I go with the reports of International Monetary Fund, and International Monetary Fund, they suggested that there will be at least a shrinkage of 3% of global GDP. But right now, I think it won't be 3%, it will be even more. Why? Because the time they released their report, there was no Cold War going on. But since the Cold War has also begun, it will strike 2% of GDP surplus. So you can say that 5% of GDP will be affected, global GDP, and that too, if the later half of the year is not affected. If the later half of the year gets affected, this percentage may rise up till 7% or 8%. Now, how tremendous and how torturous it will be for the world, you can understand by just one thing. In 2008's financial crisis, the global shrinkage of economy was less than 1%, was I think 0.8%, and the effects are felt still now. Even after 2008, we went up till 2020, but still the effects are there. So you can understand how it will affect if it goes below 7% or 8% or 6%, it will cause havoc. And I'm saying not only depression. Depression is already recession. Recession is already there, but it will lead to depression of economy, and the dominoes effect it creates. It will create on all the sectors. And see, I always maintain one thing: after any type of great depression or recession, so many changes world over take place. Now, this time the change will take place from the industrialization to digitalization, and now the people have to adjust. And those who will adjust with digitalization sooner, those countries, those societies, those businesses will change, modify themselves. with the new norms of digitalization, better they will perform, because there will be huge unemployment throughout the globe. You mind it, and you bet with me, the unemployment will be great in the coming months, and we will see a lot of turmoil everywhere in the world. And we
Yes,
don't know
thank you.
if there is some conflict between United States and China, things may be even worse.
Yes, thank you. And now we should make some conclusion because we're going to the end. It's maybe 5 minutes were left. Please, Mrs. Ahlam, would you like to say about your country, about results in future, maybe some forecast for business and society?
Yeah. For Business Women Society, I think all women, they are well aware of the new things and updating themselves about the information of different official and government sectors which they are looking for. Like we have Ministry of Commerce, we have Ministry of Labor, we have LMRA, Labor Market Authority, and we have Bahrain Chamber of Commerce. They are all aware of what will be happening as a forecast for their own businesses. I'm talking about their own businesses. Of course, our Ministry of Finance as a government, they are looking forward to balance their the country incomes and the debts and how to serve the Bahrainis or non-Bahrainis. I'm sure that we are in a good and safe hands of our government. But I advise all and whoever is listening to me that each one, they have to concentrate on their own businesses and see where is the weakness of their businesses, and they have to do their own private forecasting for themselves.
Thank you. Mr. Gulrez, what's your opinion about the future situation?
If you talk about India, I personally think, as my economic knowledge goes, next 2 quarters will be really dull. But after 2 quarters, the third quarter will the GDP will come in positive, and same was even the International Monetary Fund in regards to India. They are saying that India will grow by 1.6% after 2 or 3 quarters, because the main reason behind that is we are not an export-oriented economy. Our dependence on our GDP-wise dependence upon export is just 16%. Rest is all internal consumption-driven. So I think this pause button of economy will slowly go away, fade away, and after 2 quarters things will go normal. But globally also, if we see the picture, the demands of goods and services, they will reduce, because economy is not something like that in one go you can start it. The engine of economy needs a lot of time once it's stopped, and world over that engine has been stopped, so it will take some time. Let's hope for the best, that global situations goes well, and based upon that things will occur. And let me tell the viewers one more thing, that Ingrid is representing here Russia, and Miss Ahlam is representing Bahrain. I'm from India, and my country is really close to both of your countries. Bahrain honored our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, with their highest civilian awards,